Hi everyone, I'm David. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer from here in Melbourne, Australia. I've had heaps of people ask me on my YouTube channel what video settings I use on my new a6300. I recently did a wedding with it, and so I thought I'd share them with you so that you could have a look at them yourself. What I tried to do is I've decided not to use S-Log2 or even S-Log3, mostly because of the high ISO requirements that are required to shoot in. So I'm actually using a different setup, which I'll show you as I go through it. That gives me the ability to shoot at ISO 200 as the minimum setting. So I will take you through all those now, and I'll take you through the menus and show exactly how that I've set my camera up, and then you can have a look at the settings that I use and see if you'd like to adapt them for yourself. So we'll have a look at those now. So I'll click on the menu, and then if I go on to the second menu up the top, the file format that I use is XAVC S4K. Sometimes I will use also HD. It just depends really on what I want to do. If to be honest, I like to shoot at the highest quality I can, and then I can crop in. It makes it a lot easier later on, so it looks like I've got multiple camera angles. Because I'm doing everything on my own, I like to have as many options as I can. So I am shooting XAVC 4K. So I'll click back on the menu again. I am shooting in PAL here, so these settings might be different if you're from the US obviously, but I'm shooting at 25p 100, and it is on Super 35mm mode as well. I've got dual video record off. If I then go over to, I'll just check that these other things aren't changed. White balance I'll tell you about shortly. I usually do a manual white balance, and I'll show you that on the screen. The picture profile that I'm using is PP2, and what I'm using is a black level of 0, and I'm on sign 4. There's multiple ones that you can actually choose, but I've found that I like the sign 4 the best. Like I said, if you come down you can see there's S-Log2, which is flatter, there's S-Log3. But the problem I run up, like I said with that before, is the ISO is an issue that you then have to start using ND filters to lower everything down. So basically what I've gone is sign 4. It still gives you a nice flat profile, and I can now shoot at ISO 200 as the minimum ISO, which is terrific. Black gamma I haven't changed, Neo I haven't changed. Color mode I use S-Gamut. I've just found that that's the one I like going through them all, so I'm using S-Gamut as a colour profile. The only other thing that I've actually changed is the detail, and I've run that at -7. I don't like the way that the cameras, the digital SLRs or the mirrorless, tend to over sharpen things. It tends to look like you're using just a point and shoot. So I've lowered the level of the detail right down, and obviously then later on I can adjust that again in the software that I'm using. I'm using Final Cut, but I can put the sharpening back in if I need to. So I'll just take that off again. So that's the only thing that I've changed in those, is my settings there. I'll just go to number 6. I don't think there's anything that's changed in there. Colorspace. sRGB. And that's about it, I think. Zebra I've got on 100. Zebra is terrific because it'll show you if you're overexposing. So I always set that on 100, and I always have manual assist on as well. Marker settings, like you can put these on if you want to, but I don't change any of this. Audio level display, obviously I want that on because I want to see what the audio level is. And peaking, I will usually set to mid, and then I'll have the peaking color. It depends what you'd like to use. I usually set that on red there as well. I think that's all that I need to have set on this. Like I said, there's other things showing because I've got this on camera mode at the moment. It's the only way I can show you these menus. So I'll just go up and just check the other area. Yeah, there's nothing else that I need to show you. So the only other thing that I will do when I'm actually shooting is I will go to white balance, and usually I will just set in a manual white balance, and I'll just come down to here and then move over, and then I can just drag this to where I want it to actually go. And that's really, really good. I've now just started using a color checker passport, and I'll show a video with that later too. I've just bought the video version, which has an automatic setting through Final Cut. You can use software that will actually detect that. It's called Color Finesse. So I'll probably show that in a later video as well. That's about really all that I do. If I'm doing the run and gun type stuff, I will go to here and I will put that onto AFC usually, and the focus on this is really actually quite good. If I'm running this on a gimbal or something like that I'm holding by hand, I will leave it on AFC, and I'll usually just change the area to wide. And I've found that running the gimbal like the KMTV single, that's all I need to do, and it works fine. If I think I want to have a little bit more control, then obviously I'll just go back to AFC and go down to manual focus, and then I can focus it in manually, which works really, really good as well. And then obviously if you start to focus, you'll zoom into the area that you want to look at, and you can focus as well. And it's using your outline. You can see there the red will show when it's in focus as well. So yeah, so that's how I do it. So basically they're all the settings that I use. If you want to add something, you know, just like I said, leave those down below and we can discuss those together. You might have a different system that you really like as well. It is a reasonably flat profile, but like I said, the Color Finesse brings that back in very easy, so the color grading is very easy. I've found that the grading, once you start to go to S-Log or S-Log 3, can be a lot more involved. That's why I like shooting this method that I've got. So there you go. So I hope you enjoyed going through all those menus. If you wanted to leave any questions, leave those down below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you can, give me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate that. It's supporting my page, and I'll see you again soon in the next video. Bye for now.